Shalom, praises to Yahweh, or Shem Yahushua, or Shem Harakah. Double us to the apostles and elders of the Most High, Shalom to the prophets of the word, seven truth. Gonna go into how, more or less, this place is on borrowed time. The more you dunk your feet into it, the less return you get. Like the Dr. Dre track, the man just played. It's like, what's up and coming is the next episode, man. This place is gonna be washed. Like it's had its run, and it's anyone that's clued in on, what actually makes up like the West and America as a nation. I'll tell you, like from the 70s, it's been on its way out, and that's tied into prophecy, and it just continues to culminate. I'll start with this. Isaiah 6 and 8, and it says, "Also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, Here am I, send me. And he said, Go and tell this people, Hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not." And that's talking about Jacob, like what, as far as with them engaging with, with hearing his word. And what we talk about, the end of this age, the end of this era, the end of this current rule. Then what? It says, hear ye indeed but understand not, see ye indeed but perceive not. Basically, these things are going to be hidden. And that's something that applies to Jacob, and it's really been pasted over. By and large, Jacob meant to be the ones clued in. They're meant to be the ones getting the message delivered onto them. They're meant to be the ones passing that message on. But lo and behold, like now what? They've been blinded. And that applies for everyone else out there. They've been blinded, they can't see. They're in the midst of it, the signs are being, done right in front of them, but they're not able to piece them together. Because why? It says, make the hearts of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. Yeah. They're basically, if they're able to piece it together, then they'll arrive at the truth. They'll be like, damn, this place is toast. This place is really going to be done. The kingdom of heaven's looking to be established. But again, this is something that they're basically not been given a piece of it. Read this, it says what? Isaiah 47 and 12, it says, "Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail." And that's the nature of how this place has been established, with them sorceries, with them enchantments. That's the means of which control has been established and maintained. And that's been the MO of these elites. They basically utilize that wickedness on the left-hand side on a high level to gain and maintain control. And that's a big part of that's what everyone's wrapped up in. Now a lot of these things that would have been ancient ceremonies, reverencing heathen gods, are now just casual elements of the society. Things like the winter solstice, the spring equinox, the summer solstice. These things are all, high holy days. You do a celebration of Ishtar. That's what people, get ready to do when so-called Easter comes up. These things are now normal, because why? That's been the root. It's still established. It says, "Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators," and what you've had in the last 5 to 10 years, it really has ramped up with crystals, with what they call horoscopes, all these various star signs. These things have now become bigger than way more mainstream, especially with the younger crowds, where it's like you got young women, young men as well getting all into it, being like, oh well, I'm just a Scorpio, etc. Blah blah. Because why? These things have been utilized, but now it's spreading on a great scale. You always had like in the sun or in the mirror, they would have like what was it called? Mystic Meg. That's the one, Mystic Meg, where she'll be like, okay, doing horoscopes, saying, okay, today you're gonna meet that thing. You might meet Mr. Nice or whatever. These things are all. It's always been an aspect. Now it's ramping up. Because why? It says, behold. So it says, let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon them. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. So all these powers that this current society leans on, that they're putting their strength into, they're going to be as stubble. They're going to be as flame. They're going to get melted. Because why? Because as far as those things are used to build this place up, they were running for a season. Now that's up, and that's what people can't recognize. They're seeing like the energy crisis, the cost of living crisis, the war between Russia and Ukraine. They're seeing these things, but they can't piece together like, what's this tied into? How is it that these things are now suddenly a key issue? Because why? It's the time and end. And then Exodus 10:7 it says, and Pharaoh's servants said unto him, how long shall this man be a snare unto us? Let the men go, that they may serve the Lord Yahweh their power. Knowest thou not yet that Egypt is destroyed? And this was when the plagues is hit. I think the only one left was the plague of the firstborn. Because, actually no, I think it was just before the locusts. So there was still plagues to go. And then, even then, they were just like, yo, Egypt toast. Like, how can a man still be holding that firm when Egypt's already washed? But now it's a time where people can't even see that. Because it's a level of judgment that's on a higher scale. The people are even more blind to what's going down. And that's only going to be unveiled at the end. Says what? Knowest thou not yet that Egypt is destroyed? And I'll go back to Isaiah 6 and 10. It says, make the heart of this people fat and make their ears heavy and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. Yeah, that's basically the blinding is going to be in place until the destruction is taking place. That's why it's in Egypt they could see it, but now they're blinded until it's beyond the point of no return, because it's time for everyone to catch something. So, Daniel 5, 23, it says, but hast, what's up with 22? And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives and thy concubines, have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver, and gold, and brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the power in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. Then was a part of the hand sent from him, and his writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Many, many tekel fasten. This is the interpretation of the figure. Many, the Most High hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Whereas thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. then commanded Belshazzar. Whoa, that's what happened when in the time of the of King Belshazzar under the Babylonians. They were at the tail end. They started partying up with the holy vessels from the temple. Then what happened? The writing came on the wall, and the writing was what? It was saying your kingdom's been measured, it's been scaled, it's been weighed, and it's at its end. It's basically been handed over to the Persians, and that's that was clarified clearly. That's why every kingdom, they've got what? They've got their time to rise, their time to fall. And what we're seeing now, that clearly it's the time for the fall of what's it called? Time for the fall of Esau Edom. His kingdom's clearly its end. We've seen that manifest in various means. We've seen prophecy being fulfilled. Now we're in the time where what? CBDC, the corrupt, that's all that we're in the midst of. Various nations are piloting, putting that together. But the people are just like, oh, they're thinking it's going to be Star Trek, the Federation, and everyone coming together and colonizing space. They don't know they're still caught. They're within the prophecies of the book. That's what's getting ready to happen. Psalm 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. That's the mindset. Everyone's in a mindset. This is going to continue. They're doubling down. They're investing. They're thinking, okay, well, 2025, 2030. They're like, oh, I'm going to set this up. I'm going to put this together. There's guys they could have been saving multi-millions for their kids, not knowing that the kids they're saving that for aren't even born. They're not even going to be born. They might be born and they ain't going to make it nowhere. These guys, they could be scrimping, starving themselves, thinking about their future. That's never going to manifest. Because why? Now is a time where what? Them limitations, them borders that we're put in this current system, that's all coming. What they're about to hit. They've been talking in the US the same thing they have for every government, the debt limit, the debt ceiling. They were hitting that. They're what? I think they're close to hitting it. They're negotiating on it. But it's the same thing for this current system. It's coming up against the limit. I think I'll get. Finish on this. Sirach 3 and 23. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are showed unto thee than men understand. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. Many are deceived by their own vain opinion. That sums up the time we're in right now. Perfect. Everyone's out here thinking, oh, they can establish their own righteousness, they can bring about whatever they desire. They're thinking, oh, whatever goals they have, the world's going to wait for them. It's funny, those people living in Ukraine, they were thinking X, Y, Z. They might have just paid off a house and thought, I'm going to pass this down to my children, and they're going to pass it to their children. Then that shit got blown to high heaven. That shit's rubble. There's tanks that have been being sent from the EU and America that are going to, clamber over the house where it used to be. There could be corpses piling up where that house was, where they're thinking they were going to establish something. But that's it. That's the reality. That's what comes out when we get essentially arrive at the time of judgment. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion and an evil suspicion of overthrowing their judgment. Yeah, they're basically forgotten, slipped their mind, or they're never aware that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua ruleth in the kingdom of men. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Say Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, B'Shem Rakam Dash,